maybe this is a sign. Maybe the universe is like blown a tire up.
Man, that hit me like a ton of bricks right there. My body was pretty beat up. I was running 200 to 300 meters and then speed walking the rest.
This is The Long Run. I'm Sachin Latti, 48 years old, and I just ran over 3,700 kilometers across Canada, averaging 50 kilometers a day to raise awareness and funds for mental health. Along the way, we had thousands of conversations with Canadians, from first responders to everyday people, about what's really going on beneath the surface. This podcast isn't just about running, it's about resilience, purpose, and how we learn to keep moving forward in the long run.
This is what week? Episode 5?
Episode 6.
6. Cool, man. Ready to go?
Ready to go.
Let's rock, man. Just a FYI, this might be an emotional one today.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little tired.
Yeah, it's looking back and putting the clips together. There's so much that happens that even I forgot about, but it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, man. Let's go.
Okay, so we kick off from Chilliwack. The goal is to get to Hope.
Yeah.
The previous night, we started to notice that the RV was driving a little funny. And the tire pressure monitor goes off and we see that, holy shit, we have a tire puncture, a slow puncture. So in the morning, at like 6:30, wake up, we need to find a place to fix the freaking puncture. Shitty way to start the day. And this is at that time where even I started to question, can we even like do this? Like, we have no idea what we're doing. And maybe this is a sign. Maybe the universe is like blown a tire up, being like, yeah, stop. What were you thinking about?
I was thinking about the day, and it's interesting you mentioned the tire as being a sign that, oh, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. Or it's a sign to continue doing it. Like, so for me, I'm trying to, in those type of moments, reframing it in such a way that it actually encourages rather than deters the process. So I wasn't really going through what you guys were going through. I was going through my own battle, which was getting up, running, fueling, making sure my body was feeling okay, and staying focused in that headspace. So, you know, when these little things like that come up, I didn't really worry about the tire, to be honest. I had you guys to worry about it.
Yeah, it wasn't, like with all things, it wasn't about the tire.
No.
It was just the headspace,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that's also kind of telling. It's like when you go through a period where you're just facing a bunch of knocks, and you feel like you're beaten down, you can't help but feel like you need to stop.
No, for sure. And I agree with you. I think I can say that now because it's been some time, and reflecting back on it with hindsight, it's like, oh yeah, man, great. We had a lot of obstacles because we made it through and we did the thing, and we've learned a ton because of those obstacles. But yeah, in the moment, day 3, flat tire, you know, that among other things, like, you know, getting stopped and taken off the highway the day before, you know, these types of things I could see how they could be distracting and then also ultimately like bringing us down.
Yeah, demotivating. But it's funny to think because 2 months later we blow a freaking engine, and even that didn't stop us, and it didn't feel like an obstacle at all.
You know, actually, you bring that up. It's like we were kind of like excited almost. Remember? Now, I mean, we're jumping ahead a few weeks, but like, I'm really glad you mentioned that right now because like day 3 with a minor kind of tire puncture and we're feeling like this and like, oh man, fast forward like 80 days, the engine blows up and we're like, cool, man.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Everything is possible. It's
Right?
not a big deal.
So that illustrates really why we should do hard things.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a couple of clips like the last time for you to kind of absorb and maybe give us your thoughts. The first clip is right in the morning. You had your Normatex on, so I'm just going to play them. And then I'd love to hear just what you think.
It's emotional. Right off the bat. I was feeling pretty down in that moment. I normally don't listen.
There's another one. Yeah.
Man, that hit me like a ton of bricks right there. That's how I was feeling. What you're seeing right now is how I was feeling in that moment. So what the music you're listening to in the background there is religious hymns, and I just needed some comfort, and that's what that was. I felt like a lot of pressure and stress, and my body was feeling all the things, and doubting, all those things, right? And I was just like, man, I need something to just bring me down, something to relax. And in those types of moments, those type of hymns from time to time do kind of settle me a bit. And so that's what I was feeling in that moment.
Yeah. Was it like, do you listen to these hymns often? Or is it like, did you feel maybe not hopeless, but kind of out of options that you're looking for something to give you comfort?
During training, I would listen from time to time in the mornings for comfort. And I was like, man, that's what I just felt I needed that comfort. And something about those specific hymns, they're sung in a certain type of way that just brings comfort. And so that's what I was like really, I was like, man, I need something. And I can't explain why, man, like, because like I've done a lot of things, right? I've done a ton of different things, and I've had a lot of stress and a lot of different things. But this run across Canada was like the culmination of 5 years of effort and work. So it was like the final, it was like the Olympics.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, that's where my energy was. And I'm not sure if I can explain that in a way that really people can understand, but that's the best way I can explain it. And for me, in that particular moment, like, I mean, you can clearly see, man, like as I saw it, as it played, I just got emotional right away. It brought me directly to that moment. And that's what you saw just right now is exactly what I was feeling in that moment. I just needed comfort. And that's what that was.
Yeah. And we found an awesome tire shop in the morning that was more than gracious to help us fix the RV. And while this was happening, we were also like still setting things up.
Yeah.
Right. We're still getting the RV to a stage where it's like livable. So we had like this, Jared and I were up on the roof, getting the Starlink kind of set up, and kudos to Jared for his ingenuity.
Yeah.
This moment was kind of interesting because all of them were Punjabi.
For the most part.
Yeah. What do you remember from just like talking to these guys? Because what I remember was they didn't get it.
Yeah.
No. Not all. I'm not saying all of them, but most of them just didn't understand what it is that you were trying to do. But they just saw a brother who needed help.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it has been a challenge over the last few years with the South Asian community trying to explain what it is I've been doing. I mean, and I don't it's not anyone's fault. It's just it's not normalized in the culture. Mental health and doing now supporting charities is, because the South Asian community, Punjabi community, the Sikh community is very, very philanthropic, and they're very involved in various different ways with various different communities and charities. But for some reason, the mental health space hasn't been that. And so for me, I now with hindsight and time to reflect on it, that's my role, to be able to message it out and have these conversations. So in that moment with a group of guys in a garage who probably don't think about mental health ever, but are probably struggling with mental health every single day.
Yep.
And so for me, it was just an opportunity to just share what we're doing, and hopefully, or maybe they thought about it for a second, and then from there move on from it. But they helped out, man. They changed the tire.
They refused to take money.
They didn't take any money. And there's a term in South Asian culture called Seva, selfless service. And for me, I've said repeatedly on various different platforms, I'm not a religious person, but I have lived my life in a way that aligns with people who might be religious, right? And Seva or selfless service is one of the main things I focus on. Now, I'm not perfect at it. I do things a lot of times not expecting anything in return, but I also have to dissolve my ego.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have a challenge with that. So, I'm human. So, but having said that, I'm going on a tangent, but in that moment, I was pleased to see that these guys were pretty cool and supportive, and didn't want to accept any money, even though we offered it.
Yeah. I want to press in on that South Asian culture not willing to talk about mental health, or where it's a struggle to talk about mental health. When you were going through that phase of your own breakdowns as it started to happen in your career, how did your parents respond? Did you even talk to them about it?
Well, there was a point where I definitely did. My parents are pretty awesome, and they are. Look, my dad went to university in England. My mom grew up in England. Came to Canada, 50 years ago, and so they've integrated into society fairly well. But they still, on a regular basis, may not speak about mental health. But I growing up, I had a lot of conversations with my dad, and I suspect that's why I am a certain type of way, because my dad is very reflects a lot and thinks a lot, and I probably get a bit of that from him. So I have spoken to my parents, and they were pretty cool about things in their way, as people who are, 80 years old, South Asians, immigrants, and they've gotten a lot better. But fundamentally, they've always supported. They've always tried to help in the best way they knew how.
Yeah, I think it's just sort of in South Asian culture to kind of brush things under the rug in every family.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking.
But they try their best in the best way they know how. Yeah.
I think, I got to a point where when I was really struggling, I was going through a divorce, right? So my parents weren't, I needed to lean on somebody. I didn't have anybody. And so I leaned on them. They were supportive, and they didn't judge, and they wanted to help. And fundamentally, that's what it's about. Not judging and being there to support no matter what. And they did. So
yeah,
can't ask for anything else.
Amazing. All right. So onwards from there. So that was a great way to start the day. It just gave us, again, so much energy. Yeah. And then we just kind of hit the road. And I have a couple of clips. So if you can just we had Ian with us, and he shout out to Blackbird Industries.
Yeah, man. Jason, what's up, bro?
Yeah, so if you can also tell us a little bit about the flag that he's carrying and what's the significance of that.
Sure, that flag is a Canadian flag with the names of the soldiers that have passed away from the War on Terror, Afghanistan. All those names were people who died. And so Ian, a buddy of mine who's a correctional officer in the Okanagan, came out to support and help crew. And he brought that flag to represent what we were actually running for. And one of the charities we're supporting is Wounded Warriors Canada, supports veterans and first responders struggling with occupational stress injuries, mental health related issues, a whole bunch of stuff they do, tons. And so to have him there was awesome. That also brought some comfort. And then having that flag there was a reminder why we were there. It was a reminder, even when I would feel down, I would look at the flag, and then it would, okay, this is why we're here. So not to make things easier, but a reminder to continue moving forward. And so it was extremely important having that flag. Very crucial having Ian there with me. And as you can see, in these clips, there's portions where I'm speed walking, right? And I was still trying to figure out the pacing for myself. And at this stage, my body was pretty beat up. I was running 200 to 300 meters and then speed walking the rest. And so there's an element of that as well. So trying to figure things out and then having friends around to support, to help guide on the pacing as well. So all of that's kind of happening in these clips.
Exactly. So it's like there's so many things to solve for. And yeah, I remember like it took you a couple of weeks to kind of dial in the pacing where the distance was manageable, but also giving enough space and time for people, and then also enough time to fuel up. And essentially what I remember from that period was dialing a routine in, like a workday. So, wake up at 7 a.m., chill out, get some coffee, breakfast, start work at 9, 9 to 6, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Basically. And then you have your tasks, I have my tasks, everybody else has their tasks to do. And then we just kind of like have dinner and just do it again.
And it's interesting. That was a process to figure out, man.
Yeah.
Because like initially I'm like, okay, we'll keep going until we're done this, certain kilometer distance. And then we start thinking, man, we got to figure out how we're going to engage with people, have conversations, do outreach, like all the different things that are associated to it. And I think creating that workday, quote unquote, let's say 9 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. of me moving, I think helped make that all manageable. And so that, and again, it evolved, right? The priority really wasn't the run. It was how do we create outreach? How do we connect with people? And using the run as the vessel to do that.
And the biggest lesson I got from this run as well is about the importance and power of creating systems and processes in a way. Because if we had to continue doing the run very ad hoc in the sense of like, we'll just cover distance and we'll see what comes up and not create boundaries for ourselves, we wouldn't have made it. And for me, growing up, I've never really had discipline as a child. It's very strange. My parents were working. Both my parents were working. We were like lower middle class. And so growing up, I was kind of left off to be on my own. And I never grew up with discipline. So just wake up when you have to, sleep, eat whatever you want. And now I'm seeing in my 30s, I'm like, holy shit. Like it's weird for me to like understand this now. But routine is kind of like a superpower. And in some ways, it's amazing how you were able to kind of dial that in. And we were able to kind of apply that as well. So yeah. So the day before, we were off to stay off the highways, which we for the most part obliged to.
Yeah.
And we obviously wanted to stay, make sure that we were being safe. But there was a small part in the route that we had taken that we had to get back on the highway for. So it was about like, I think 6 or 7 kilometers. I don't specifically remember the distance.
Yeah.
So there was a part where we were back on the highways and some of this happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this, man. So at this stage, man, I'm like still in the hurt locker here, and a little frustrated at the fact that we were only going to be on for a short period of time. We had done our due diligence to get all the approvals to be on the highway, and we were trying to do something good and positive. And so for me, there was frustration that was coming out that we were being removed by the RCMP, and no shade on them at all. They're doing their job. But for me, in that moment, I was a bit frustrated because, like, hey, man, like, we're raising money for veterans and first responders, and we're being removed from the highway. So that's kind of the energy I was feeling. And, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I'm irritated. And so anyway, so that's kind of what was going on there. And then really I left it to you guys to figure out how to move forward, because I got to a point where I was like, man, I probably should remove myself because I'm getting a bit agitated, and I should probably just, let calmer minds prevail here.
This was an interesting situation where they said, look, we understand. Again, the RCMP is amazing. They said, look, we understand what you're doing. You just can't do it this way. And if we see you again, we're going to have to take action.
Yeah.
Which would mean that, we're going to have to stop you. And I remember asking you and Ian this question, being like a couple of days before, being like, what's the odds of us just being stopped? And both of you were like, almost impossible. They're not going to stop you.
Yeah.
Nobody ever would,
Yeah.
because we've run across BC before. We've been on the highways. We've done the thing. I guess most people know who we are.
Yeah, and other people that I've known who've done it haven't been taken off the highway, right?
And so for me, the risk factor as, I guess, like the managing director of this run was, okay, cool. So the worst case scenario is we won't get stopped or the project won't stop. So we just have to figure a way around it. But this was that warning that, okay, if you guys come back on,
We'll shut you down.
we're going to shut you down.
And so, listen, I think that really but like really forced us to think about how to move forward still.
Yeah.
And, shutting us down wasn't an option. But also, we didn't want to break the rules. And we also wanted to follow the rules. And while all this is happening, the team is now trying to reach back out to the various different organizations that would be involved to be able to make sure that we can still stay on the highway. And we did all those things again. And we got some feedback. And, the government works at the government's pace. And so we had to make a decision to move forward and still do the project. So we ended up just saying, okay, let's pivot a bit.
Yeah.
Let's make a bit of adjustment. And when we get the response back from these different agencies letting us know what we're doing, then we'll come back on the highway.
Exactly. So again, I just want to reiterate, this was overall positive.
Yeah.
There was at no time where it felt like things escalated to a point where it would have led to some other place, but everything was positive. Everybody had a problem-solving mindset, including even the police officers. It was like, we want to help you do this, but here are the restrictions right now. And it was new for everyone because nobody had done it this way before. So anyway, it wasn't that big of an issue. We just had to make sure that we had to take a different route, and we had a route sort of road mapped as well. And again, I think this was, call it what you want. For me, it was the universe talking.
Yeah.
And we went off the side road, this B road, knowing that we had to get to Hope City to take a different direction. And I forget which road we were on. We had this woman who was waiting for us on the side of the road for 4 hours. We passed through a reserve, and this wonderful indigenous woman showed up, and she was essentially talking to us about waiting.
Oh man, I'm so out of it right now.
Yeah, I bet.
How you doing?
Good. But I've been waiting for you for a couple hours to come through. I was wondering what was going on. I've seen the mental health. Yeah. I've dealt with mental health, so I totally understand.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, we all of us here have experienced something, so that's why we felt the need to do something. However small it is, we're trying to do something to kind of create a spark.
Yeah, I was just talking about maybe connecting with Chilliwack First Nation as well as Hats and Hope.
Oh man, I'd love to.
And then we have a campsite called Teltiat in Hope. That if you connect with them, they'd be more than willing to take you guys in to camp.
Wow.
We can
chat with Glenn. He's the guy who's basically managing everything for us. Yeah, I think like just to kind of go back a bit about the having to change what we were doing. Now in hindsight, man, I really want to thank the RCMP and the authorities for doing what they did, because if certain things didn't happen, maybe we don't meet this person on the side of the road, and I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have pivoted the way we did. And these interactions that we've had with people that might not be able to get to the highway happened.
Yeah.
And
I remember you were telling me with someone else who'd run across the country before, you ran with them on the highways. And I remember you telling me that it felt really dangerous.
Like I think, especially look, if someone's by themselves, it's fine. But if you have 1, 2, 5, 10 people now on the highway because they want to support and they want to help, Now there are other considerations to think about, not just myself. Now it's other people I got to think about, and the team has to think about. And I think, ultimately coming back to the purpose of the run was to raise awareness and funds and engage with people. I think it kind of had to be the way it ended up, where we went on some side roads into towns and meeting various different communities. Like for me, the indigenous community is a very important community. They have been affected from a mental health perspective in a negative way, and if we can do something, as however small it is, to at least help or support in some kind of way, that's what we're going to do. And it clearly resonated with her because she was waiting for a couple hours. She came out. Then we went to her mom's house, I think, right?
She drove her mom over to come and say
and
hello.
Her mom gave us donated money, and I was like, man, it was pretty cool. It was really, really cool.
Yeah. There was this kid who was with us, Johan, and the kid in the blue shirt, he showed up and he came in from work. I think he was working in a roofing company or something like that. Didn't have a place to park his car, and the lady was like, yo, it's not safe here. Park in my driveway and I'll keep an eye on it and just go run. And I thought, again, that was such a beautiful moment, right? For people just coming together. And yeah, I just thought it was really beautiful.
No, it was cool, man.
Moment.
Listen, it's just people coming together to help each other out.
Yeah.
Something simple. Yeah.
So
simple, but not as frequent as you'd like to see it.
And then this, again, was another really interesting moment where Johan had called his buddies over and they all showed up after work. And, they're 19, 20, just got out of high school. They're working in trades and doing all kinds of jobs just at the start of their career. And it was really cool to see them show up and you speak to them. So this is a clip. With some of that, we'll just hear what you said and what they have to say, and I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I'll look at some of this, what people are saying, and words of encouragement.
What I do sometimes is when I'm running by,
Yeah.
I'll look at some of the
So
what people are saying.
So if you feel like there's something
things that make me feel good.
So periodically. So if you feel like there's something that might make someone feel good, or something that's encouraging for somebody who's going day after day,
Write that down.
from your heart. Don't have to, just whatever you feel, man. Don't whatever.
And then the next clip. Yeah.
That's cool, man. The young guys that, took time out of their day to come say hi, and clearly mental health resonates in some capacity with them, because why would they show up? And this happened like so frequently, man. It's like
It was the start.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's the
Yeah.
beginning of everything.
And that's how that day went.
Yeah, day 3, man. Just keep plugging away, and things were still getting refined and figured out. And like life, man, like you don't know what you're doing day to day. Generally speaking, you have a direction that you want to go in, and things come up and roadblocks happen, and just try to figure out how to overcome them so you can get to the final destination eventually. And that's really, this run is a metaphor
Exactly.
for that.
The next episode, which is the day after this, was probably the most pivotal day in the campaign, because we woke up saying we had to change the way we're running the thing. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next episode.
Yeah, and that's a big one, man. So let's save it for that day.
Yeah.
We don't need to share too much because we want people to come back for the next one.
All right.
But yeah.
Closing thoughts.
Yeah, man. Closing thoughts. That third day was a tough one for me, and it started off feeling pretty alone. But as you can see, by the end of it, we had a bunch of people hanging out, and I was feeling entirely different. So again, just because something starts off not so great doesn't mean it's going to end off terribly. So,
Exactly.
yeah, man.
Awesome. Let's bring it back. This was episode 6. Excited to just share more.
Yeah, episode 6. Excited. Looking forward to it. And listen, so as you guys are watching these episodes come, hopefully they're getting dialed in a bit more for you guys. Again, just drop us a DM, subscribe, like, give us your insight, give us your feedback. We want to make sure that this is something that you guys are also enjoying. And for us, we're extremely excited for the coming weeks, because now we're going to start probably bringing some people in, having deeper conversations, showing some more video of the runs. So stay tuned. It's going to be fun, and always forward.